Hello everyone, welcome to another Zohar reading for world peace. Apologies for a bit of a delay there in the beginning, but just had a few technical problems. But it's great once again seeing all of you, lots of familiar names, some of you faces as well there in the chat. Also it was great meeting a lot of you in person and also virtually there on over the retreat over the weekend. Had a really big event, and now we're getting back on the train. Regular broadcasts, regular lessons, regular readings, and we're going to get straight into it. Let's see who's with us today, and remember that we're heading into a reading of the Zohar. We're going to encounter a lot of terms, a lot of language that really wouldn't be that familiar to us, and the main thing here is the intention that we hold during the reading, and how we tune ourselves to the reading, that we try to seek and wish to aspire to attain these lofty states that the Kabbalists who wrote the Zohar, people who attained those high spiritual degrees that they write from, that we aspire to those and aspire that these forces will enter our lives and our world, forces of pure love, bestowal and connection, forces that exist at the level of the Creator, and how the Creator created a whole system which concatenates down from the level of the Creator down to the created being, in order for the created being to attain that very state and level and status of the Creator while we are alive in this world. So that's ultimately what we try to do here. We'll also hear some words of our teacher, Kabbalist Dr. Laitman, during this session, talking more about the intention. But before we get into that, let us join together in one intention with people from all around the world. Sylvie from the Netherlands, Michaela, love and peace from Romania, Ed from Northern Ohio, Albert from Germany, Julie from Utah, Susan from Toronto, Haruki Magic, hello friends, love and peace. The Seventh Hour, greetings fam. Rosie from Tennessee, Eva, Annie from North Carolina, Patricia from Ohio, great to be here with friends. Sonia from Oslo, Norway, Tolik from Brooklyn, Elma again from Texas, Vince, hello everyone, good to see you Eva, Rosie again, Lilu, love from Morocco, Akai, hello everybody, Shalom from Peru, and Odongo and Jocelyn is also here from Sharbot Lake, Anima is here, hello all, Kelly, Carlito from Johannesburg, Olga sends her love, and Ioana from LA. I'm sure there's many more of you. Also here on Facebook we have Shalom Salam from Pakistan by Irtiza. So we really have points, these sparks from all around the world connecting to such a reading. Let us hope that the forces expand through everyone now connecting in this common reading through one common intention. And just to hear a few words of our teacher, Kabbalist Dr. Laitman, about the intention. We're going to hear it from one of these so-called intentions from the heart. There was an audio book created quite a while ago based on words of Kabbalist Dr. Laitman, where he spoke extensively about how we attune ourselves to the study, how we calibrate ourselves when we approach the study and all kinds of aspects of life, but specifically the study. And we're going to listen to one of these intentions right now as we head into the reading.
Intention determines everything. It is not even worth opening a book without the intention. If in order to establish the right intention, you need 1 hour to prepare for the lesson, it is better that you come 1 hour later. or come on time and prepare yourself for the intention here. This is an important and serious aspect, and it applies to everyone who studies at the morning lessons without an exception. Analysis of what should be the intention at the time of study is mandatory and more important than everything else. Engage in the study only if you do not lose the intention. This is where the difficulty lies. Experiencing difficulty in keeping the intention. You call obstacles upon yourself. Then you start playing with the material and with the intention for it. This resembles a real analysis of what measures of a desire for delight can we utilize in order to create the intention for bestowal above it. How deep shall we delve into the study and engage our reason so that we keep the intention directed towards adhesion with the Creator? By keeping the intention and focusing on the study at the same time, we implant the intention to the study material. In the future, we will be able to implant the intention for the sake of bestowal to the material of our desire for delight in the same exact manner. Question: what should be the right intention during the study if every moment of the lesson different unrelated thoughts and states race through your head? Different states and thoughts sent to you during the lesson are so-called obstacles. Overcoming them, we define our relation to the study. We act only from the basis of our need until we feel the need. We cannot artificially retain a single thought or follow anybody's advice. If a need is absent in a person, there is nothing else to tell him but to get connected to the group and absorb the need of the fellow men. However, if the connection between us is such that the group does not give a person a rebirth every single moment, that is, does not renew his desires, you will not advance correctly. You, as well as your fellow men, must have the need that you receive from the society and the intention on which you work individually during the lesson. Remember, it is not worth taking more from the study than the intention permits you. Make sure that the intention does not abandon you.
Oops, I was just on mute that whole time. Okay, I'll try to review what I just did very quickly. So we're going to head into the Zohar, introduction of the Zohar, the rose, and what I was doing here was going into Kabbalah.info and just showing that if you wish to study along with the text or read along with the text, you just click on the Zohar section here and then click Study the Zohar and then just scroll down to Introduction of the Zohar, the Rose, and that's the text we're going to be reading from, the same one we've been reading the last few weeks. And we're going to continue from the section D. So just run a search in the document for D, and then we'll be able to continue from there. So Introduction of the Zohar, let us hold that intention we just learned about now as we get into it. 2 ways to explain the name 42. 1. The name 42, Da'atzilut, is called a name, a real form, and all the names are imprinted from it. This is the 4 letters of the simple Havaya and the 10 letters of the filled Havaya. and the 28 letters of the filling, which together make up 42 letters. 2. The name 42 of the act of creation, which are the 7 days of creation, Zon de Atzilut, having 32 Elokim and 10 utterances, which add up to 42. Explanation. The lights received above the Parsa through the Yesodot, plural of Yesod, of Upper Abba Ve'ima, above the Chazeh, where the Rosh de Arichanpin, which is Keter, and Upper Abba Ve'ima, which are Chub, Chochma and Bina, are called there 42 of Atzilut, from which all the names of the 42 are imprinted. Hence they are implied in simple Havaya, Keter, and Havaya in filling, Chochma, and Havaya in filling of filling, which is Bina. Thus the pure Avir in Abba Ve'ima is the name 42. However, Zon, which are the 7 days of creation, cannot receive anything from the name 42, because they are below the Parsa at the Chazeh de Arichanpin. They are the lower water, devoid of Gar, and receive from Yesut, whose Avir is not pure Avir, Avir meaning air, and they cannot receive from the upper Abba Ve'ima, which are the name 42, because the Parsa separates between them. However, when the lower ones raise man, and mud is drawn from Absag to Ak, this illumination brings Bina back to Rosh Arichanpin, at which time Yesut receive illumination of Chochma and impart to Zon. And then Zon are as above the Parsa de Chazeh de Arichanpin, and they too receive pure Avir from Upper Abba Ve'ima. Then Zon too are discerned as the name 42. For this reason, 42 de Zon in 32 Elokim and 10 utterances is implied there, which make up 42, together in Gematria. This is so because the 32 Elokim is Yesut. When they rise to the Rosh, receiving illumination of Chochma from the 32 paths of Chochma, since the 32 paths of Chochma make 32 names of Elokim in Yesut, which are 32 times the name Elokim mentioned in the act of creation, and 10 utterances are 5 chasadim. However, when Zon received the illumination of Chochma from the 32 Elokim, the 5 chasadim that they receive, which come from Upper Abba Ve'ima, are the pure Avir, which is the name 42, considered upper water. It follows that the 5 chasadim from Zon did not become 42 there before they received from the 32 Elokim. Hence the implication that 32 Elokim with 10 utterances together are 42 in Gematria. And as the form of the covenant was sown in 42 zivugim from the seed of Yesod de Zeranpin, the engraved and explicit name was sown in 42 letters of the act of creation. This is because the 5 lights of the words, "Let there be light," are 5 chasadim, where Yesod de Zeranpin imparts upon the Nukva, and they are called seed. That seed is the name 42. Because although they are 5 chasadim, because there is illumination of Chochma within them from the 32 Elokim de Yeshut, they are regarded as the name 42. It compares between the structure of Partzuf Nukva in the name 42 and the seed of Yesod de Zeranpin. However, the engraving of the name 42 are 42 letters from Bereshit, in the beginning, through the bet in the word bohu, tohu vebohu, meaning unformed and chaotic. Section The Flower Buds. 4. In the beginning, Rabbi Shimon started, "The flower buds have appeared on the earth. The time for pruning has arrived. and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. The flower buds are the act of creation, have appeared on the earth on the third day, as it is written, and the earth shall spring forth grass. The time for pruning has arrived, is the fourth day, in which there was the pruning of the tyrants. This is why it is written about it, let there be lights, without a vav in Hebrew, which is a curse. And the voice of the turtle dove is the fifth day, of which it is written, let the waters swarm, to produce offspring. Is heard is the sixth day, of which it is written, let us make man, who is destined to put doing before hearing. In our land is the Sabbath, which is like the land of life, the next world. Explanation. The flower buds are the 6 days of the act of creation, Vak, Chagat Nehi de Zeranpin, from which the 10 Sfirot of Partzuf Nukva de Zeranpin are built. This is so because the Nukva has nothing of her own, and her whole construction is from what Zeranpin gives her. He interprets how the Nukva is built from the Vak de Zeranpin. He says, appeared on the earth on the third day, since the Nukva is called earth. The flower buds, Sfirot de Zeranpin, were received and appeared in the Nukva, who is called earth, on the third day of the act of creation. This was on the third day, Tiferet, since first she was emanated in the 2 great lights, and then she was equal to Tiferet de Zeranpin. It follows that she was emanated on the third day equally with Tiferet de Zeranpin, who is called the third day of the act of creation. Then they appeared on the earth, since that state did not exist in Nukva. Hence they appeared on the earth, meaning that they appeared so once. Afterwards, the time for pruning has arrived. This is the 4th day, on which there was the pruning of the tyrants, since on the 4th day the moon, Nukva de Zeranpin, was diminished, as it was written that the moon complained and said, 2 kings cannot use the same crown. And the Creator told her, go diminish yourself. And then she descended into a point under Yesod de Zeranpin. Her bottom 9 fell into Bria, and only her point of Keter remained in Atzilut. And she stood under the Yesod, and henceforth she is built by Netzachod de Zeranpin. This is called pruning of the tyrants, since the diminution became a preparation and a receptacle for receiving mochin de chaya, and these mochin cut off all the klipot that cling to the nukva. Pruning means cutting off, and the tyrants are the external ones and the klipot that surround the rose. The voice of the turtle dove is the 5th day. The turtle dove is Netzach de Zeranpin. The voice of the turtle dove is Hod de Zeranpin, who receives from Hod that is included in Netzach de Zeranpin. For this reason, this reception is called the voice of the turtle dove. Is heard is the 6th day. The voice of the turtle dove is received in the Nukva only through the 6th day, Yesod de Zeranpin, which includes Netzach Hod and imparts them upon the Nukva. It is heard to the Nukva only on the 6th day. The rule is that the Nukva receives only from the middle line of Zeranpin, which is Dat Tiferet Yesod, or from Dat, or from Tiferet, or from Yesod. It was said, let us make man, who is destined to put doing before hearing. Hearing is Bina, since seeing and hearing are Chokhmah and Bina. Doing is Malchut. In Tzimtzum Bet, the bottom Hey rose to Netzach Nikvei Enayim, to associate her with Midat HaRachamim, the quality of mercy, upper Bina. Yet Abba moved Ima outside, and Abba himself was established as male and female. This is so because Enaim is Abba, and through the ascent of the bottom Hey to him, the zivug of Rosh was established in the bottom Hey, who is called Nikvei Enaim. And Ima, Bina, went because of that from Rosh to Guf. Thus there are Keta Chochma in Rosh Derech Anpin, and Bina went out to the Guf. It follows that doing, the bottom Hey, Malchut, comes before hearing, Bina, since Abba was established in the Nukva, who is called I, and the Nukva became like Abba, the second Sphira after Keter. From the ascent of Malchut to Nikvei Enaim, she was medicated there and became fit to rise and clothe upper Abba Ve'ima and receive Mochin Dechaya, like upper Abba Ve'ima. Like upper Ima, sorry. This is the meaning of the moon being full. Hence, upon the giving of the Torah, Israel said first, we shall do and we shall hear, putting doing before hearing, and by that they were rewarded with the reception of the Torah, since doing, Malchut, rose and clothed upper Abba Ve'ima, and the Yovel, the 50th gate, appeared. This is why hearing was in the 6th day, since on it the correction of putting doing before hearing was done, as at the time of the giving of the Torah. For this reason, on the Sabbath of Bereshit, Malchut became the land of the living, upper Ima. In our land is the Sabbath day, which is a sample of the land of the living. Upper Ima is called the land of the living. And through the giving of the 6th day, Nukva rose on the Sabbath day of the act of the creation, up to upper Ima, and Nukva too became like the land of the living, since the lower one that rises to the upper one becomes like it. Let's renew the intention a little bit with another clip from a daily Kabbalah lesson with Kabbalist Dr. Laitman. Again, answering what happens if our intention somewhat weakens during the reading or during the study. What do we do then? This is what Dr. Laitman has to say about it.
Amit from the Elad group is asking, when the intention weakens while I read the text and the mind starts to understand, no such thing that the intention weakens. We needn't take that into consideration whatsoever. If the intention weakens, then there's nothing to talk about. The intention has to be stronger and stronger and increasing throughout the study, since all the friends have to think together. And if each one of them has an intention, that is impossible that one of us falls in intention. As simple as that. We're included in a spiritual network of connections between us, not a corporeal one. And having the intention to connect ourselves in Israel, Oaita, and Kuchabrich are one, where I, the Creator, and the group are one. And we discover only that light which fulfills the whole of reality. If all of us are yearning to discover that state, and the light, through the studying, through the reading of the Zohar, has to discover that state to us, then it has to be ever more burning. If I feel that my intention weakens, I'm 100% dependent on everyone here. Here we really have a touch of the work and the spiritual network. We enter through this, the spiritual world, we work in it to the extent as much as we can, hold the intention and hold it together. We're already doing that in the corporeal world, only it has to be revealed so towards us that that's how it is, and we demand the light to reveal it. So it's impossible that I'm next to the Zohar not thinking about that.
Okay, so with that little bit of a zip of strengthening, also since we started a little bit late, we'll go into just a little bit more reading of the text and go out with strong intention. Let us all think really why we are here, what we ultimately want from this study, with the understanding that through such reading of Kabbalistic texts with the right intention, meaning with the intention to wish to become what these texts speak from, and to attain these degrees that they're speaking from as a means of drawing the lights from those degrees and advancing towards them. So by doing so, we become included in everything that the Kabbalists wish to bring us, and come closer to the purpose of creation. So let us take another round of reading. Everyone connecting like this with their intention, as we head once again into some more paragraphs of this text of the introduction of the Zohar, the Rose. 5. The flower buds are the patriarchs who entered in thought and entered the next world, Bina, and were hidden there. From there they came out in concealment and were hidden in the true prophets. Joseph was born, and they hid in him. Joseph entered the Holy Land and erected them there, and then they appeared in the land and were revealed there. When are they seen? They appear when the rainbow appears in the world, and at that time the time of pruning has arrived, the time to cut off the wicked from the world. Why were they saved? It was because the flower buds appeared on the earth. Had they not appeared already, they would not have remained in the world, and the world would not have existed. Explanation. The Zohar explains the attainment of Mochin Dechaya de Ziranpin itself. The flower buds relate to Chagat de Ziranpin, which are called the patriarchs. Nehi de Ziranpin are called sons, and they are two partsufim that divide on the Chazeh de Ziranpin, since Chagat are called the great Zon, and Nehi are called the small Zon. Hence the Zohar makes the position of telling us that it's from the great Ziranpin, and this is why it said patriarchs. They are called flower buds, which means plantings, since they grow like plantings. First their measure was as that of Nehi. Afterwards, in Yenikah, they became Chagat. Then in the first Gadlut they became Chabad of Neshama. And in the second Gadlut they became Chabad de Chaya. When it is said that they entered in a thought and entered the next world, Bina, it refers to the Ibur of Ziranpin, since during his Ibur he rises to Abba Ve'ima, who are called thought, and the next world. Abba is called thought, and Ima is called the next world. And there is the beginning of the construction of Ziranpin in 3 within 3, which means that Chagat are clothed within Nehi. This is why it was said the plantings were as antennae of grasshoppers, uprooting from there and planting elsewhere and raising. The plantings are the patriarchs, Chagat, from their root. Through their ascent to Ibur into Chochmah and Bina, when he plants them elsewhere, they obtain there the mitigated Malchut, which is fit for Mochin at the time of Gadlut. By that they grew slowly in Ibur, then through Yenikah, then through the first Gadlut, and finally through the second Gadlut. From there they came out in concealment, where once Chagat received all the Mochin de Ibur, they are born and come out of Abba Ve'ima to their place below, and come out in concealment, since after their exit from Abba Ve'ima to their place, they remained still in concealment in diminished light. They were hidden in the true prophets, means that by obtaining Mochin de Yenikah, the unique light was extended to Nehi de Ziranpin, the true prophets. Then Chagat expanded for them out of Nehi, and he obtained Vak. This is why they are still hidden, for they are still in concealment of Mochin de Rosh, and only have Nefesh Ruach. This is why it was said that they were hidden in the true prophets. They are netzach and hod that they obtained through the yenikah, but they were hidden in them because their light disappeared and is no longer revealed. You should know that there is always an inverse relation between vessels and lights. This is so because in relation to the lights, the light of Chagat, meaning Ruach, is obtained through Yenikah. In relation to the vessels of Nach, Netzach and Hod, are obtained in Yenikah, and the light of Nefesh that was in Chagat descends in them. Similarly, in Mochin de Gadlut, in relation to the lights, it is considered that the light of Chabad is obtained, and in relation to the Kelim, the vessels, it is considered that they obtained the Kli of Yesod de Gadlut. Friends, we're going to stop it there because we're out of time. It's wonderful, once again, having the opportunity to be here with you and read this most lofty of texts. Thanks once again to everyone who was with us. Just a few more people here who joined since we last read. Julie, can't hear you. Yeah, sorry about that earlier. Rosie, Angela, Akai. Actually, it's all more or less most of you who were here. Kev, nice to see you here as well. Hayes, Kevin, Cannibal Osmos. Okay, and more. Also, Stephen is saying hello from Michigan on Facebook, as well as Irtiza, who's still there from Pakistan. Well, once again, let's hope for world peace. Let's hope for these forces that extend from the Zohar to enter our world more and more through your work and your intention in trying to connect together and become this positive conduit of these forces. Then truly world peace is a state that we can bring close to ourselves and advance there, hopefully sooner rather than later. So thank you all, and until next time.